Hey everyone, Clinton Isaac here from the Australian Fly Fishing Lodge. In the next series of short videos, I'm going to be giving you some tips on fishing the fly, how to fish it correctly, and setting the hook on fish. All the things that you need to do correctly after you've made a good cast to get the eat from the fish. Okay, so after you've made your cast, or you're about to release your cast, one of the big no-nos is to let go of your line during the cast like this, okay, to shoot it out. The two reasons for that is, one, the line can get caught around like here or get tangled up like this and you're fumbling and you try to find the line. A lot of the time in saltwater fly fishing, you need to be ready immediately to fish the fly. So what we like to see is you run that line through your hand like that. I'm a left-hander, so I run it through my right hand. If I'm a right-handed caster, I'd run the line through my left hand. Stay connected with the line through your hand on the release, so when it lands, you can manage it and you're ready to fish straight away. If you let go of the line and it goes like this and you're fumbling and you need to fish the fly, there's your shot done. If you're chasing a permit in particular, your shot's done. So remember, just run that line through the hand nice, hold on to it, and you're ready to fish the fly. Okay, so once you've made the cast, you've run the line through the hand, the next very important step to do is to see what your line's done on the water. And what I mean by that is, none of us throw a perfect cast. Sometimes we have a belly in our line, so we need to manage that line straight away to get direct connection to the fly. Very important, because sometimes you might need to strip that fly straight away, and if you have a belly in your line and you're stripping, all you're doing is you're pulling in the slack of the line. The fly actually isn't moving. So what you need to be very mindful of is, as soon as that fly lands, if you throw a perfect cast like that, beautiful, you're ready to fish it. Okay, but if you throw a cast in with a belly in it, especially on windy days, you need to manage it, flick it around, mend it, get connected, strip it in and get connected to your fly. Very important step after you've made the cast. Alright, so once your fly's landed and you're connected with your fly, it's time to fish the fly now. Fishing the fly is stripping the fly basically, and one of the things that a lot of people might do, or they do is they tend to strip a lot like this. So they do kind of long strips like this, and if the fish eats, which it normally does on the stop, especially a lot of the fish on the flats, not so much tuna and stuff where you're stripping, you know, or double hauling, but on the flats, the fish will eat the fly on the paws. If you're here, that's your pause point. When the fish eats, you've got nowhere to go, you're stuck. So basically you cannot, and then you'll try to load it and set the hook with the rod, which isn't going to happen. Okay, so all your stripping needs to be done in front of you, and you can do a short strip in front of you, which I'll show you now. You can do little bumps like that if the guide asks you, little bumps like that, or you can do long strips. So your long strip from here, even if you're here and he eats it, or the fish eats it, you can still load. You've got that little bit extra room. If you're doing short strips, well, you've got a massive amount of area to set the hook, okay? So everything's stripping from the front. We want to get away from stripping here like this. We want to do everything from the front. Little strips or long strips. So if it eats there, you can set the hook. So the fish is eating the fly and it's now time to set the hook. The biggest no-no, as we all know, is the old lift the rod, the trout set in the salt water. It just doesn't happen. You can't get connected to that fly and the hook quick enough to set the hook with the rod tip. I mean, look, it's all floppy. You've got the heavy line, the thick gauge hook. So what we need to do, and the most direct way to set the hook and stay in contact, is the strip strike and setting it with the line. Any kind of rod tip movement, it doesn't matter if it's just, if the fish eats and it's a little up like this, or a left or a right, it's already too late. A lot of these fish, they inhale the fly so quick and reject it so quick that if you move the rod tip, it's already out. So this is the most efficient way. What everyone does is set the hook with the line. It's so quick and direct. Okay, I know it's a very hard habit to break, but it's a habit that needs to be broken if you're going to start, hooking fish in the saltwater definitely. So any rod tip movement, whether it's left or right, up or down, it all needs to be with the line. Line set, the most direct contact and the quickest way to set the hook. Okay, so you fish the fly, bang, you've got the eat, the fish is eating the fly. Now a fish is going to do three things. The best scenario is it eats the fly and it runs away from you, okay? So you've set the hook, bang, the fish runs away from you. What you do at all times is you keep the rod low and you just clear that line off the deck with tension, keep kind of driving that hook in a little bit as it runs so the hook fully penetrates in. A lot of the fish on the flats in particular, and also in the mangroves, they actually inhale the fly. They don't actually really bite down on it and hold it. Your GTs, your permit in particular, your goldens, they inhale the fly. So sometimes the fly might just be dangling there and you think it might be in and penetrated, but the barb actually isn't in. So say for instance, if you go like this and you get an eat and you think you're on, and then you go straight to fight position and all of a sudden the hook comes out just because the barb isn't in. So by keeping the rod low and the tension hard, that hook is going to drive in. But that's the best scenario. The next scenario is that you're going to put your cart, you get the eat, okay, and the fish just sits there with the school maybe or by itself and it shakes its head trying to dislodge the hook. So once again, if I set the hook and I go straight to here and the fish is shaking its head, look, I've got all this slack and all this rod movement, more than likely the hook is going to dislodge. Where if I keep that rod low, okay, and set the hook, I can manage the fish like this as it's moving and keep a real direct contact to it, driving that hook in until that fish decides to run off. And the third scenario is the fish runs towards you. This is always the toughest one. I mean, it happens so quick, and the best way again, like the other two times, the fish eats, it comes towards you, and you just strip flat out and you keep driving that hook in as much as you can. Okay, a lot of people I see, basically the fish eats, it comes towards them, they go like this, they end up like that. I call it the Statue of Liberty. They end up like this. It's not a good position to be in. You've got all this slack line, the rod's above your head. If you're in that position, I can assure you the hook's probably going to fall out. Okay, so the fish comes towards you. Look at this, you can really strip. This is your best chance of keeping up with the fish when it comes towards you. So in all those three scenarios, what the fish might do, the conclusion is basically keep your rod low, drive the hook in, okay, wait to see what the fish does, and then just use the line to manage it. Don't lift the rod at all until you really know what that fish is going to do.